Trump said that he was only in it because he wanted to beat Biden. Well, now Biden's out, so why can't he just go home?
9 years after you first started running, do you have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan.
People start leaving his rallies early. Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. He is having a very difficult time processing that. I have talked with military leaders, some of whom work with you, and they say you're a disgrace.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals.
Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away, so stop with the continuous lying about this stuff. If Donald Trump were to be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban.
In what felt like a 90-hour episode of America's Got Divided Opinions, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump went head-to-head in a 90-minute debate tonight. With Election Day just around the corner, both candidates were on a mission. Sway those last few undecided voters who still haven't fled to Canada. Harris throws the first punch. Harris didn't waste any time. In a symbolic move not seen since Trump's 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton, Harris initiated a handshake, and with the kind of confidence you only get after shaking hands with Trump, yes, that happened, declared, "It's time for a new generation of leadership." Harris gave a polite but firm nod to Trump's stellar immigration record and that little Afghanistan mishap, calling his leadership divisive and outdated, and he is unfit to lead the nation forward. She reminded everyone that this is the same guy who lost an election and still can't move on. With a few minor legal issues, multiple indictments. Harris pushed her forward-looking vision of inclusivity, innovation, and stability. Trump's counterpunch, Biden's doppelganger. Not to be outdone, Trump came out swinging too, except his punches were more like awkward slow-motion jabs. "She is Biden," Trump said repeatedly, like a broken record that's been stuck since 2020.
She is Biden. She's trying to get away from Biden. I don't know the gentleman. She says, she is Biden.
It was as if he was trying to cast a spell that turned Harris into Biden. He pointed to Biden-era inflation, foreign policy fumbles, and, of course, blamed everything wrong in America on Harris being, well, too much like her boss. In Trump's world, Harris would just keep the country on autopilot, a pilot named Joe Biden who can't find the cockpit. If we had $1 for every time Trump said Biden, we might actually be able to afford rent. Maybe. And then, the gloves came off. Harris, who was clearly ready for battle, reminded the world that Trump was fired by 81 million people in 2020.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that.
Trump tried to cut in because apparently the best way to assert dominance is to sound like you're scolding a toddler.
In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute. I'm talking now. If you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar? She went out in Minnesota.
But it didn't stop there. Harris took aim at Trump's beloved rallies. She suggested they were boring, repetitive grievance fests, and Trump, surprise, took the bait. "People don't leave my rallies," Trump shot back, clearly rattled. "We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in political history." For a man whose greatest strength is supposedly his ability to turn crowds into angry mobs, that dig must have hurt.
And I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies. People start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to kill that bill, and successfully so? That would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on the border.
First, let me respond as to the rallies. She said, people start leaving my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics.
Now, things got really heated when abortion hit the debate stage. Trump proudly defended the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, crowning it a win for democracy, because nothing says democracy like taking away rights from half the population. He framed it as a victory for the states, claiming this was exactly what people wanted. Harris wasn't having it. She came ready with receipts.
Trump abortion bans that make no exception even for rape and incest.
Sharing stories of women bleeding out at parking lots after being denied emergency care due to restrictive laws. "This is not what people wanted," she stated, adding a side-eye so sharp it could cut through a Trump rally crowd.
"This is what people wanted? Pregnant women who want to carry a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot? She didn't want that. Her husband didn't want that. A 12 or 13-year-old survivor of incest being forced to carry a pregnancy to term? They don't want that.
Not me.
Harris pointed out how the decision was dragging the country backward, and the entire conversation felt like a flashback to debates from the 1950s, except with less decorum. Trump dives into conspiracy land again. No Trump debate is complete without a detour to Conspiracyville. With a straight face, he claimed immigrants were eating pets in Ohio. Yes, pets. And pushed false claims that Democrats support post-birth abortions, quickly dismissed by Harris and the moderators.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Harris didn't linger on the absurdities. She had bigger fish to fry, like calling out Trump's bromance with Putin. She quipped that if Trump were still president, Putin would be throwing a housewarming in Kyiv. Trump, of course, claimed the war wouldn't have happened on his watch. You know, the old, I would have made everything better just by existing argument.
And through the work that I and others did, we brought 50 countries together. And because of our support, because of the air defense, the ammunition, the artillery, the javelins, the Abrams tanks that we have provided, Ukraine stands as an independent and free country. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. Putin's agenda is not just about Ukraine. Understand why the European allies and our NATO allies are so thankful that you are no longer president. Quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
Trump's concepts of a plan. Healthcare in a galaxy far away. Trump defended his decision to save Obamacare from falling apart, blaming Democrats for blocking any fixes. But when the debate moderator straight up asked if he had a healthcare plan, Trump served up his classic, I have concepts of a plan. 9 years since he first run, and we're still waiting on those concepts to turn into an actual plan.
Trump, this is now your third time running for president. You have long vowed to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. You have failed to accomplish that. You now say you're going to keep Obamacare, quote, unless we can do something much better. Correct. Last month, you said, quote, we're working on it. So tonight, 9 years after you first started running, do you have a plan, and can you tell us what it is?
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now. But if we come up with something, I would only change it if we come up with something that's better and less expensive. And
the polls are in. Harris takes the win, including Taylor Swift's endorsement. After 90 minutes of verbal dodgeball, a CNN SSRS poll showed 63% of viewers thought Harris came out on top, while 37% were still waiting for Trump to finish that sentence from 2 debates ago. Harris's team immediately called for a second debate, because why not keep this show going? Trump, on the other hand, claimed Harris wanted another debate because she lost badly, proving that in his world, winning is whatever he says it is. Even President Biden chimed in, tweeting, wasn't even close. And just when you thought things couldn't get more exciting, pop star Taylor Swift entered the chat. She endorsed Harris, rallying her millions of fans and likely causing a massive uptick in political Spotify playlists. Swift, who previously called out Trump for using AI-generated images of her to fake an endorsement, made sure her real one landed in style. Buckle up, it's about to get bumpy. As the dust settles from the Trump-Harris clash, Harris's forward-looking policies on economic recovery and reproductive rights are set against Trump's nostalgia for a past that never was, and both candidates are gearing up for the next phase of their campaigns.